All right, Coach. It's been a couple weeks since we last talked to you, but I'm sure you wish you were coming to us with a better standing. But nonetheless, 1-3 record to start the season. Had a win against Regis in the in the South Central Regional Conference Challenge, whatever it's called. And then most recently had a tough one against Fort Lewis. So open up your home schedule, dropping the contest by 1 point. Obviously, a lot of games to talk about, but so let's just summarize it. Give me initial thoughts on how you think your team's performed through your first 4 contests.
Yeah, I love our team. I wouldn't change it at all. I do think that we've got to slow the game down for them and make some changes like that. And I think we're pushing the ball when we shouldn't and not pushing it when we should. And so those kind of communication things have to be solved. But I do feel like we've got the players to be very successful this year, and I love their work ethic. They're great kids and they're coachable, and we've just got to do a better job of all getting on the same page and handling pressure. That's the game scout against us. They are going to face pressure for the rest of the year, and we've got to do a better job of taking care of the ball and valuing it, knowing the time management on the floor, when to pull the ball back, when to attack, all of those things. And that's what we're teaching every day with film and just playing.
Coach, what steps can you take to kind of just limit those turnovers on a game-to-game basis?
Yeah, I think that's what we need to do is just teach them when to push and when not to. You can't telegraph where everything's going to be on the floor because everybody in the gym knows where you're going to pass it. So if you're looking to where you're going to pass, probably they're gonna know that, and we've got to get smarter at that. Those things, our timing with our passes, and then we've got to make our passes harder. You can't lob passes and expect it to be completed. And so I think that there are passes that we miss, and so when we finally see it, it's too late, and so we fire it anyways, and that's going to be a turnover. And so we've just got to, I think the game is moving a little bit quicker than what we are right now, and so we're working every day to fix that problem. And I think just slowing it down on the floor is going to help us a little bit.
Like we were talking about just before this started, it is a long season though, and like these problems can obviously be corrected. But in a tough conference like the LSC, sometimes these slow starts might come back to bite you. So what's the message to the girls?
I think that the first message goes to our staff. We've got to keep being ourselves, and we've got to keep teaching and leading like we know. Obviously what we've done in the past has been successful, so we've got to keep believing in that. And I know that if we do that, the success is going to happen. As far as the kids go, I think that we've got to win each day, and it all goes back to winning those small battles. It may not produce a win automatically, but eventually, you'd hope that it will. And we're going to keep encouraging winning those small battles, and eventually it'll win the big one.
Coach, talk to me about, obviously I know you've kind of been focusing heavily on the negatives. Talk to me some of the positives that you've taken so far through these first 4 games. Obviously, had that win against Regis. We're seeing the guards get a lot more rebounds than normal. Mm-hmm. What are you seeing from the head coach perspective on the positive side of things?
Yeah, if you would look at all of those games that we just played, we're putting together a quarter in each one of those like we know how to play. And, that tells everybody that it's there with this team. Like, we've got everything it takes to compete with anybody in the nation. We've got to be consistent. We've got to be mature enough to start the game that way. And as a staff, we're trying to find different ways to, with our pregame warm-up and just our pre-practice to help that part. But we've got to be ready when the ball goes up, and we've got to grit our teeth. I mean, you got to have a mean streak out there. And if you don't have that, you're going to have a hard time in the LSC. You just are. And your competitiveness has to kick in. We've got to get out there and be us. And when we are us, we're a really good team. I mean, we're a very good team. They work hard every day, and we see it in practice all the time. When the lights come on, we've got to get out there and play like we do in practice. And we're continuing to work on that. But like I said, we're fairly young this year. I think that our girls are growing each day, and making better and better plays, and we're finding people in transition, which is good, and solving some of those smaller problems every day.
And then let's talk about your next contest on Sunday afternoon. You'll be taking on the second-ranked Pittsburgh State Gorillas at their place in Pittsburgh, Kansas. Obviously, from just the daunting taunt, of course, number 2. So your work cut out for you there. But they do play Texas Women's before you, so you kind of get a little bit of chance to look at a conference opponent before you play them. What are you anticipating for that matchup against the Gorillas, and what do you think your team has to do in order to try to leave Pittsburgh with a win?
Yeah, I have a ton of respect for Pitt State. I was really glad to get them on the schedule this year, and they, they're very physical, and they run in transition. I mean, we're gonna have to make sure that our transition defense is on point. But again, I expect a lot of pressure, and we're gonna have to be able to handle the ball and take care of it, value it when we can, know when to pace ourselves, like slow the ball down, and when not to, when to push. And I really think that if we play us, we're going to go in and compete. And I truly believe that we can compete with anybody in the nation. We just got to settle in and be us.
Coach, when a team has issues such as turnovers, it's something that they're living in the moment, and it's something that they can see real time, and then on film and things like that. And it's not something that you guys are the only ones dealing with. So how can you guys use that issue that you are dealing with and kind of look at like future matchups, like, okay, obviously they're human too, they're going to make these same mistakes. How can we take our mistakes and really look for those amongst other teams as well?
Yeah, I think, pressure is a thing. And when you can see a team that struggles with turnovers, that's your first thought as a coach is, all right, we're going to press and we're going to be active. We're going to get as close as we can to them, and cause them to be uncomfortable. We always say, like, you either own that spot or the defense owns that spot. And that's the battle that you face in every position. So when that defense is causing you to be uncomfortable, they've won the battle. When you face pressure, as a player, I used to think if I'm uncomfortable here, I'm one step away from getting around them. And that's what we need to do. We need to start attacking. When they're pressuring us, we've got to attack the rim and go score with it, and that's going to back them off of that. But as far as solving turnover problems, if you can apply that kind of pressure in practice every day, which is going to help us against other teams, right? It all goes hand in hand. We can't let somebody just shoot a 3 in our practice, because that's not real. That's not how it's going to be. You can't stand off of a pass. That's not how it's going to be. You're going to have to pressure, and then that makes us better defensively and offensively if we can just keep being that in practice. So I hope that answered your question. Okay.
With this week, what it is with Thanksgiving and whatnot, you've already touched on Pitt State a little bit, but what does that look like practice-wise, like getting ready for a long road trip and stuff like that?
We're very competitive. I mean, our coaching staff is probably one of the most competitive people, and we want to see our kids succeed. It's not about us. With that being said, it's not about us. It's about these kids being successful. And we go into every day. I mean, we rack our brains till midnight trying to figure out what drill or what's going to help our players be more comfortable in a game situation. Well, that is applying as much pressure as you can in practice so that when they get into the game, they're more comfortable with that situation. And so I think focusing on us, I mean, obviously we've got to solve the small things. I mean, we can't let a rebound bounce. We got to go get it. We can't have a defensive mistake. Like, and if we have a missed assignment on the defensive end, it's going to hurt us. And we've got to limit those mistakes. We can't let one mistake lead to the other, and that's what, it's not necessarily us this week going in, figuring out what Pitt is going to do. And I think it's more about us figuring our problems out and us getting better at those small things. And I think, I truly do, if we execute what we've gone over from day one, we're in that game and we're probably going to be successful with it.
Coach, we've talked a lot about the negatives that we would like to see fixed on the team that you would like to see fixed. What are some positives? What are some takeaways from this season so far through the first 4 games that you really do like and you'd like to continue to build on?
Yeah, I really like the way that we're competing, and I do feel like these kids want to win. We've got to do more. We've got to be more consistent with how we do that. And there's those certain quarters that you've seen in every game. That's us. I mean, we've played some of the best against Western Colorado. That third quarter was the best defense I've seen in 3 years, I think. And so those type of things give us hope. They know how to do it. They can't get in their heads about small things. They've got to have a short memory. They've got to, if they make a mistake, they got to move on to the next play. And I do feel like these girls, they could quit, but they're not. They're coming back every day, and they're wanting to get better. They're watching more and more film. They're asking for that. And so, as a staff, that's encouraging to have a team that's willing to do whatever it takes to win.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach, for your time, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Appreciate it.